Over here on your right, you have your crypto and Bitcoin weather forecast for the 4 different major time frames. I went over this in full detail during my live show earlier today. I will go ahead and link you to that video near the end. I do have tags on there. The 2 most important things that I covered during that live chat is and again, this is labeled in the tags, is I spend 15 minutes teaching you a tool that will keep your perception as close as possible to align with reality. In other words, to reduce your bias as much as possible. Even though I explain it for 15 minutes at the beginning, I promise you it can make your crypto journey so much more profitable. And when you implement it and use it, it only takes about 30 seconds to go through it, although I take 15 minutes to describe why you would want to use it and how it works. And then there's another tag for a more full-on Bitcoin analysis. For this video, I'm going to go run through it, keep this very short. Let's dive in. You can see here, since Bitcoin is at a potential bounce point, the micro time frames are just slightly better than neutral. The short-term time frames seem to have been breaking down, therefore, and this bounce point might not hold up very well. So I think the short-term time frames, 1 hour to 4 hour charts, they might be just a little bit less than neutral, but it's definitely slightly more red than neutral. Okay, so this is full on bearish, this is full on bullish, this is neutral. There's no edge either way. I think there is a tiny bit of edge to the downside, and maybe a couple hours of green candles before it moves down, which is why the micro time frames are a little bit more. But you can still tell, because I'm going to throw on the weekly 10, because price has not gone above the weekly 10 and used it as support. These have not budged. They are still the same as they were on Monday when I first started using this weather forecast. It's very important to realize that it's all about the weekly 10. It is arguably, if not factually, the most important EMA in all of crypto. In all of crypto. For traditional markets, it might be more like the weekly 21, but in crypto, the weekly 10 is where it's at for sure. It's almost undeniable, okay? Now, I'm going to take off this weather forecast here, and again, I'm going to keep this a very short analysis because at the end of this video, I'm going to link you to the live chat from today that has labels so you can skip around and only view what you want to view. Under the weekly 10, therefore, assume pressure down. In the recent live chat, when price was still up here, roughly right there, I mentioned that price is going to come down and hit 39.5 at this line, which is what's happened. Let's take a quick review of that. So I'll just loosely call that a rejection. It got rejected by this line, even though it failed the line, more specifically. And because of that, the next most likely bounce point is roughly 39.5. All right. During that, I said it's extremely likely that it's going to hit 39.5, with the second most likely situation being potentially it wants to make a higher low on this trend line, which it did not, and I labeled 39.5 as the next potential bounce. And when I mean bounce point, that does not mean full-on recovery. It just means you might have a couple, 2 to 3 1 hour candles turn green before it then heads back down. A bounce just means you're going to see some buyback there. Whether it's sustained or not is irrelevant to just a bounce, not a recovery, not a mega bounce, not a dead cat bounces are really big, right? They look like recoveries until they drastically start getting really violent. So baby bounce, which I was only off by $58. So it went down to 39,558, and I mean very obvious because this quarterly range, hopefully you can see that this quarterly range here is getting things correct. And why I say it's a quarterly range is because it came into existence starting with the drop of January 2020 that started at the top. This bottom creates a parallel channel, and then you can just drag. So all these lines are exactly parallel to the bottom line. You see that? It is a perfectly parallel trading channel with only one tiny little fake out wicks to the upside. This channel, I promise you, is working. Again, I covered up that little wick down here, but this wick right here, it is perfectly parallel. So from wick to wick, all right. I really suggest that you pause. Let me make myself even smaller. I strongly suggest you pause this video and you try to emulate this. And again, it's starting back late January, and then how you make it a parallel is you make your first line like this, okay, whatever color, and then you, on a computer, not a phone, you hold control first, then hover over the line, and then drag it, okay? And then if you don't click away, if you do it again, you'll get typically get both lines, but you click away, do it again, and just keep making your lines, and you can make them different colors, so on and so forth. My alarm is going off to remind me that I have to drive to soccer practice here in a minute, so I got to keep this pretty short. All right, now, because this is going into a holiday season here, it is possible, if not likely, so Bitcoin CMEs and traditional market CMEs and futures are going to be closed for 4 whole days. Therefore, if you decide to trade to the upside over this weekend, so through Tuesday, so Tuesdays when some markets, Bitcoin CMEs open back up, I think it also applies to Bitcoin CMEs. It's likely just going to be floaty price action. So if you are a person who decides to trade, even though the things I cover on YouTube is not trading. This is all TA. TA and trading is totally different. I had a community member who was new who didn't you realize that to a full-on effect. And yeah, so this is not trading. However, those of you who have a trading system just realize that that is the case for traditional markets. And when traditional markets are closed, CMEs and futures are totally closed for an extended period of time. Any price action that happens, it's extremely likely that by Tuesday, price will be almost exactly back where it is now on Bitcoin. It's going to be somewhere close to 39 to 40K. It's extremely likely by when Tuesday starts. I'm telling you. Is it guaranteed? No. But so therefore, if you're doing any clicking around over the next 4 days until Tuesday, you're gonna need to take profits because it's just gonna be floaty, flighty stuff up and down. You're likely not gonna see any capitulation to the downside for major shorts. You're likely not gonna see any big pumps to the upside, because if it does pump to the upside, what's gonna have to happen? Well, on Tuesday when Bitcoin CMEs go back open, spot has to come back down to where CMEs closed on Thursday. So it's just going to come right back down. That's why it's going to be floaty price action. I need you to keep that in mind. And that's something I did not mention in the live chat, because technically I wasn't even aware of it. And my recent VIP call made me aware of this. So I'm going to give you some inner secrets that that my VIPs actually just educated me on, because I didn't realize Easter Monday was a thing for traditional markets. All right. So that's what we've got. Therefore, any price movement over the weekend, I could see it go between maybe a wick above this yellow line as high as 41.9, okay? And maybe a wick below this line down to 38.4. Therefore, over the next 4 days, I would strongly make a hypothesis that I would make the hypothesis that there's a strong percentage chance that all ranges are going to be somewhere between these two numbers on Bitcoin. Can altcoins do a little bit something different? Like Luna does its own thing. Luna's getting its butt kicked right now. Like it's getting ready to hit like $73-$76. It's tanking pretty hard. But could Near Protocol go back up, to like what was it, $18 or $17.50? It's possible as Bitcoin does this. Altcoins, the strongest altcoins might not follow this exact rule, but Bitcoin itself, you're probably not going to see a capitulation. You're not going to see a scream to the upside. Everything that happens over the next 4 days will probably likely be in here. But trading ranges is very profitable. Therefore, it might be boring over the next 4 days, just like it's been boring these past 4 days. So expect a lot of boring. Bitcoin will turn into most likely a stable coin, and it might look something like this. So this might be about 4 days of time frame. Let's measure. And what do you know? It's actually 6 days, 5.5 days. So it could be something similar to this, between these lines. It really might look very similar to this. And that is what to expect over the weekend. I hope that this was helpful. And again, click this video if you want to see a recap with tags of my live show that lasted an hour, but you can skip to where you want to go, and click this link right here if you want to have a more profitable crypto journey and you learn how to set up a chart with just a 28-minute, very quick trading view tutorial that I created for newer folks to crypto. You just got Timified Worldwide. Have a safe weekend.